Welcome back. So we're back into ChatGPT. We started with the calorie counter. That worked out pretty good. And now let's go ahead and ask ChatGPT to create I think what I would like to do next is let's ask ChatGPT to now do the water intake. So let's go ahead and copy, and we'll say add the code for the water intake.
Here's an example of what the HTML and JavaScript code for the water intake tracker tool might look like. HTML, JavaScript. This is just a basic example, and a functional water intake tracker tool would require more complex code and possibly even a database connection to store user data. Also, note that the reminder to drink water is shown as an alert, but it could be implemented differently, such as sending a push notification to the user's device.
Awesome. So let's go ahead and check out the code for the water intake. Let's go ahead and copy this code, and we'll take it over to CodePen to test it out. And again, we're going to test out all of these applications first in CodePen. And this will actually also give us the option to just add a link to our cards directly to our CodePens. But this makes sure that we don't have to run the risk of changing anything on our actual website. So let's go ahead and copy the JavaScript. I've now pasted it in, and I'm going to also go and grab the CSS and paste the CSS. Again, we're using the CSS directly from our style guide. So you'll notice that it's already been styled just like the rest of our Healthy Habits website. So the first thing that it's asking is how much water did you drink? And so I'm not sure if this is in ounces or not, but I'm just going to say 15. And then it gives you the opportunity to add the date and the time. And then it will actually log this out. So this is really cool. So this gives our visitors the chance to log out their water and pretty much keep track of it. So I love this. It says track your daily water intake and make sure you're staying hydrated. So let's take a look at the code before we make any adjustments to it. One thing that I find that I would like to see different is the time display. It seems to be displaying, the time format seems to be on the 24-hour clock, possibly, and I would like to see it adjusted. So that's one thing that we can change. Another thing is, let's go ahead and look at this JavaScript first. So at this point, you should be seeing a pattern, which is that the very first thing that is being done here is having our variables set and created. And in this case, again, these variables, they're using the const keyword, and they're actually taking information from the form and from the elements with these IDs. And so again, we're able to find these elements by just looking in the HTML. So when it says water amount, it says get element by ID. That means that we're looking for an element with the ID attribute and with the value set to water amount. And so we'll be looking here So the input is the element that has the ID attribute, and the value is set to water amount. So this first water amount input variable gets its value from the user's input when they input in this space here. So this corresponds with this input element, and whatever is put here becomes the value of the water amount input variable. So then after that, it has you to set the water goal, and that is done by simply creating another variable, and this variable has actually been hard coded, which is just basically saying that it's not going to change. So whatever you put here, no matter what you put in any of the fields, the water goal does not change. And this water goal total or value is here. So if we look underneath our form, here is the water goal element. It says your daily goal is, and then here in this span, it has basically replaced this information or this space in the sentence with the water goal, which is right here. And then next, we'll come down, and again, we're adding an event listener to the submit button. In this case, if we look again, we'll see that the submit button is actually the add button. Here we go. So here's the button. Here's the add. It has the text of add, but the type of submit. It's the only button also on the application. And when that button is clicked, it is what will trigger or call this function. And in this case, everything that is inside of this function is pretty much what it takes to calculate and to actually log this information. So when you click the submit button, it gets the values from the water amount, and it gets the value from the water time, and then it creates a new water intake entry into this log here. So this is basically a list item will be created, and then it will enter the water amount and the water time, which is pretty cool. So every time you click this button, it will create a new list item with this information here. And then it will add the water intake entry to the log, and it will also clear out the form. So that basically means that once you click this button, the information up here needs to be cleared out. And so it's doing that by setting the value, these two areas, to nothing. Basically, these are empty single quotes. And so there is no value here. And it also looks like, so there's also every 2 hours, it will force the alert to come up that will be a reminder to drink water. So every 2 hours, an alert will come up that says it's time to drink some water. So this is a pretty good application that we can add to our website. I think this is definitely going to be good for our users. So let's go ahead and save this one. And now let's go back over to ChatGPT to see what else we can add to our website.